We are going to be laying the ground for our community. And you can see I have some different colors that I think I might use for my town. Now, some of these are going to be used later, but I'm going to need two other papers first. One of your really big white pieces of paper, and remember mine is slightly different shaped than yours. We're going to cut a long strip, so you'll have a short side to your paper and a long side. You want to go with the longer side of your paper and cut a strip all the way up. I want this strip to be, I would say, at least 3 fingers wide. So to help you while you're cutting, I'm going to put 3 fingers down and a mark. This paper will be completely hidden, so it's okay if you make some pencil lines on it. Don't throw away the rest of your white paper because we can always use it for other things. So you can cut and just kind of follow each of the dotted lines. If you're pretty good at folding, and sometimes it's kind of hard to fold a really long paper, but you can try folding it straight down as well, and then follow the folded line. It's really up to you. I think I folded mine a little crooked, so I'm going to keep following my pencil lines instead. Okay, so I should have a nice long strip of paper. Don't throw this away. I would put it back in your art kit. And then this is going to be the length of my community. Now that my white strip is cut, I'm going to use my green sheet. Now, even if I decide to do a road or a sidewalk or something on top, I want to start with green so there's not just a blank white strip that you might be able to see. We're going to completely cover it. This strip is just going to act as a way to attach pieces together because our construction paper is smaller than that big white paper. Your strip will be longer than mine. My paper is a little shorter than what you guys have. So you're going to use the long side again and cut long strips of paper. You should only need 2, but if you don't make it all the way across, you can always cut a little bit of extra. Now I'm measuring how tall my white paper goes. You can see I've matched the edge of the green with the edge of the white. And then I'm going to go up a little bit higher. We're going to start though with just that straight line. So I have my line. It's gone up a little bit higher, and then I'm going to go all the way across. And you could fold it if you want. I'm actually just going to use my white strip, kind of like a ruler, all the way up and measure it. And I'm going to need 2 of these. Now, it doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line. We're going to make this look like grass, and grass isn't a perfectly straight line. After I cut it, I'm going to move it over again, measure it the same way I did before, and in the end, my strips should cover the white strip, and they'll probably stick out a little bit, like that, which is okay. Now I want to make sure that the bottom white edge I don't see. Alright, now before I glue it, I'm going to turn this into something that looks a little more like grass. And right at the edge I'm going to cut some fringe. I'm just going to use the tip of my scissors and cut little lines. Alright, now that I have a nice grassy fringe, I'm going to glue my ground to my strip. Now you can use glue stick or you can use glue bottle. If you only have one, use that. The nice thing about a glue stick is it's a little drier, so it won't be as messy. but sometimes with a glue stick it's not strong enough. So you have to decide, if you do use a glue bottle, you want to be careful not to use too much glue. I'm going to press my glue bottle down to the table when I'm drawing, like I'm using it like a pencil. I'm just drawing a thin line, really thin. I don't need a lot. And I'm drawing really like an outline here along the top of the strip, the side, and the bottom. I did not put glue on my grass. I won't need to put glue on my grass. I'm just putting glue on the white strip. Then, as you can see the outline of glue there, I'm going to, so again, I'm still kind of holding it up to the other side. I'm going to flip one side up and rub it down. And on the other side, make sure I don't see any white right here. And if you do, what I'm going to do, I think, is I'll put a house right there, so you won't see that little crack. And smooth down the other side. I'm going to let this dry before I pick it up. I'm going to give it a little time because otherwise it might peel off. Now you need to think about what kind of community you have. Is it a community where there's going to be lots of sidewalks for people to walk their dogs, or kids to ride their bikes? If you do, you might want to use a white strip of paper, a thinner one that could run along part or the whole length of your community. I might have one that comes up a little bit and back down. You could also think about a road. If you think you'd like to make some cars for your community, I could use black to make a road going part of the way across, and some lines so the cars know where to drive. And another thing I could do, if I want this to be a really nice looking hilly kind of neighborhood, I could take another strip of green paper behind and make hills that go up higher for my community. I think I'm going to do that. I think I want some hills, maybe not all the way across my community. Maybe I'll make the hill come like right here. So it kind of comes up and back down. But I could make many hills. Maybe I'll make 2, yeah. So I'm gonna make sure that this green piece comes up. It doesn't have to go all the way down. I just need to make sure that the bottom of it is still behind my line right here. And I'll make the line come up and down and maybe up and down. You could do hills here, and if you really like it, get some more green and do another hill over there. I think I'm gonna stick with one in the middle though. Now I can see that line, so I need to scooch it down so I just see the hill part of my community. All right, and then I'm gonna put glue down on my hill this time, just along the bottom a little bit, and take my grass and hold it up until I see exactly how much I want to be showing, and then lay it down. I think I'll do my road. Again, I'm not cutting anything, I haven't marked anything, I'm just holding up my paper right now, deciding how long I want my road to be. I guess I could make my road go halfway across the paper. Again, you could always make it 2 strips and have it go all the way across too. Another thing you could do is use a ruler or an extra piece of paper that you have to make sure that you're cutting on a straight line. Now I can see my pencil line on this side, so I don't want this to be the front. I'm going to put my glue on that back side. So because this is my back where I can see these pencil lines, I'm going to put my glue on the back of the road. And this could be a sidewalk too, so if you want to do a sidewalk instead, you can use white paper. Just don't cover the whole grass that you made. We want to see some of that green. I want to have some place for kids to play, or maybe a park or something fun over here, so I'm not going to do my road all the way across. So whether this is black or white, or if you decide, no, I want all greenery, I want extra hills in the back, you decide. The last step, if you do a road, it would be a good idea to have some kind of line so people know this is for cars. You could make it out of white paper, that's a dotted line, or you could do a yellow paper, that's a really thin line. And for a dotted paper, if you remember back to our other cut paper project, when you cut little strips, the easiest way to make rectangles is just to cut a long strip, go across. Now those look a little thick to me. I can go in between and make two extra thin. And if you have scraps again, save it, because we're going to need that when we start building our houses later. For our next live meeting, you can also bring with you scraps if you saved them from other projects that we've done. So the texture paper or painted paper from our animals project, or our imagination project where we were practicing creating things with shapes. I saved mine so I can use them when we create stuff on our community. If you haven't, it's okay. Make sure at our next class that you have your construction paper ready.